Welcome to State of Prime. It's time to prime the mind, body, and spirit so that you can always stay in a state of prime. Let's get primed.
Welcome back to State of Prime, guys. Today, we're talking about the power of little things, and specifically regime/routine, depending on how you look at it. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. So, guys, today I want to just talk about from my empirical evidence. I've been trying to throw that in, empirical, which I believe for the most part is centered around actual experience. So, like I always say, we're speaking empirically from, our own experience. We're not speaking theoretically. We might apply and dress some things theoretically, but overall, we're speaking from experience. So, this past 2 months, guys, I believe I've read like 6 books, right? Now, this is on top of, running a family. I don't know if you can hear my children in the background. Uh, Gardening, growing our own food, running a business, building a business. Like, all these things, guys. All these things. And it. Here's what I mean. So, the 6 books that we have read have been from incrementally sitting down and diving into it. So we have a routine daily that we have blocked. So it's a simple routine at the end of each day. Not really the end, it's more like the end of the afternoon, like 4 or 5, between 3 and 5. And it's like a workout regime and some other stuff. But we've blocked reading in there. And this has just been 10 to 15 minutes, maybe sometimes even just 5, sometimes more. But we've consistently hit that. And just from that block coupled with, now, I'm sorry, I got to say this, guys. These books were not read during the same time frame. These were different times. So I believe we spoke about this last time. So whenever I'm in the bathroom, right? The bathroom at home, I have a couple of encyclopedic books. They're not really encyclopedias, but they're like little knowledge bits. So like every time I go to the bathroom, I read a couple pages. I might read 1, I might read 5, just depending on, what's happening. And so I just finished one, I believe 2 days ago. And this has just been from those little bits, guys. And so the premise of today's episode is, where can you block and create time for the things you want to do? Let's say you want to learn how to play the ukulele, right? That I'm actually learning how to do. Every day at the end, the block I was telling you about, right? It's a simple regime type structure. And within that regime, or I believe it's after I read, I do about 5 minutes on the ukulele, just playing some strings, doing some movements with my fingers. Just doing that daily, guys, because just from doing that, I've seen a dramatic increase in me being able to play the ukulele, but also, guys, in my confidence. And so, whatever you are doing, are you building that consistency? I truly feel that you doing 5 minutes every single day is a lot better than doing 3 hours one day, because that consistently stimulates that part of the brain, and that neural behavior, so to speak, starts to ingrain itself, and it coincides with other neurons within. It's like everything in life: as above, so below; as within, so without. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And so as you incorporate these mini practices, they start to expand and build upon themselves. And again, guys, I'm speaking from experience. I mean, I had to look back at my Goodreads account. If you're not familiar with Goodreads, it's a great app. It's actually, it's like a digital bookshelf, and this is where I keep, my categorized shelves about different topics and books that I'd like to read and whatnot. And there's also a shelf for books that you have read where you can write reviews and connect with other people. And I had to look back and see, wow, 6 books. And so the routine, guys, I actually, okay, so every night, for the most part, I listen to an audiobook, and then I do some reading at the block I was telling you about, the afternoon, and then within the bathroom. And see, my mind has just been, configured, so to speak, to look for these opportunities to peg habits. So, as an example, guys, I love to ground, right? But living in this modern world, so to speak, especially with the habits that we are raised with, you have to be conscious and deliberate in your restructuring yourself. So, me and my wife, when we take a walk in the mornings, we have a long rock road, right? Because we stay out in the countryside. And so, what I'll do is I'll take my shoes off and walk that path. That's just a habit that I've been. And so, these little things that you do daily, what can you peg upon it? What can you build upon it, guys? And when you do that, you're going to start to see the magnifying properties of that mini habit and how it's going to expand and build on itself. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And if you take that step daily, guys, first off, again, empirically speaking, this is something that I've seen start to tangibly affect this life that I'm living. And that, for one, it's confidence. I've seen a huge increase in confidence. I've been playing, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but I was playing tennis, but I've decided to actually convert to pickleball just because it's an easier sport to learn. It's a lot more fun in my opinion. The social properties of it is also fun. The team, it's a great sport. I love it. And so every morning I do a little pickleball routine. I built a little pickleball board and whatnot for me to just practice on, and that's about 5 minutes a day, guys. And again, like the confidence that comes with you being consistent, the discipline, of course, the time management, and the correlation of all these things, it's so magnifying. And in what areas do you want to improve? Do you want to read more? Do you want to work out more? Yeah, I believe I spoke to you guys about, the threshold that I pass, doing pull-ups. Like, health, I don't believe is something that you do. It's a lifestyle. It's something that it's just done. It's just done. So, in what areas can you peg these things that you want to do? Do you want to learn more? Do you want to run more? Do you want to connect to the earth more? Do you want to grow more plants? What is it that you want to do? What helps you stay primed? And then when you get to that process, then you can reverse engineer. Okay, you know what? I do this, this, and this daily. I do whatever. And now you can start to add to those structures. You can start to consciously and deliberately embed these habits that will grow upon themselves. It's a process, guys, and for me, it's going on 2 years of consciously and deliberately building on these practices. And I promise you, 2 years from now, it will be different. Similarly different, so to speak. It's built on the same foundation, but it's constantly changing. Because guess what? I'm constantly changing. But I'm learning from each iteration and incorporating and taking what works and leaving what doesn't. So again, guys, we're going to conclude today's episode with simply this. In what areas of habits or structures that you do daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, can you consciously and deliberately embed habits?